In this video, we're going to revise those calculations where you're given the masses of the reactants and you're also given the masses of the products, and you use these masses to construct a balanced equation. So this is strictly for higher tier students only because everything's done in moles. So let's look at the first example. 8 grams of CH4 reacts with 32 grams of O2 to make 22 grams of CO2 and 18 grams of H2O. Use these masses to balance the equation. The first thing we must do is write the reactants on the left of the arrow and the products on the right. So in this question it says CH4 reacts with O2. So they go on the left and it makes CO2 and H2O, so the products go on the right. So this is our starting point. We then use those masses to work out the moles of each formula in the equation. So remember, moles is mass over mR, which we've seen many times now. So for CH4, that would be 8 grams divided by 16, because the mR of CH4 is 16, 12 for carbon and 4 ones for the hydrogen. Oxygen is 32 grams is given in the question, divided by the mR of O2 is 32, so that's 32 over 32. Carbon dioxide, 22 grams of it given in the question, and the mR of CO2 is 44 because carbon is 12 and each oxygen is 16. And then we've got 18 grams of H2O and the mR is also 18. So when we work all of those out, we get the moles of CH4 is 0.5, the moles of O2 is 1, the moles of CO2 is 0.5 and the moles of H2O is 1. And it's a good idea to set out the calculations like I have underneath each formula. Now at this point you might be able to spot what a whole number ratio of each item in the equation is. But if you can't spot a ratio from that, a good tip here is to divide by the lowest number. So in the previous line we've got 0.5, 1, 0.5 and 1. So the lowest number is 0.5. So for CH4 we do 0.5 over 0.5, then 1 divided by 0.5, 0.5 divided by 0.5 and 1 divided by 0.5. So when we've worked out the moles, we've divided each one by the lowest number. And that gives us the lowest whole number ratio. So that works out at 1 to 2 to 1 to 2. So what this is really telling us is 1 mole of CH4 reacts with 2 moles of O2 to make 1 mole of CO2 to make 2 moles of H2O. And we can then use that as our balancing numbers. So CH4 has got 1. We don't write big ones in front of anything. We just assume there's one of it. Plus 2 moles of O2 makes 1 lot of CO2 and 2 lots of H2O. So we can see there where those whole number ratios have been slotted into the equation as the balancing numbers. Time to have a go at this one for yourself. If you need to look back at the previous one, you can rewind the video for a short while. But pause the video, have a go at this, set it out like I did in columns, see how you get on, and then we'll check your answer. The first stage, remember, is to write out a basic equation. So it says AgI reacts with Na2S, so they must go on the left of the arrow, to make Ag2S and NaI, so they go on the right of the arrow. And then we want to work out the proportions of each for the balancing numbers. So we do moles equals mass over mR for each term, which comes out at this: 47 over 235, 7.8 over 78, 24.8 over 248, and 30 over 150. And that comes out at 0.2, 0.1, 0.1 and 0.2. You could probably spot there what the ratio is going to be, in which case you don't need to divide by the lowest number to find the ratio. But if you're struggling to spot the ratio, in some questions the numbers might not be quite so easy as this, then you do each number that we've just worked out divided by the lowest one. So in this case, it's 0.2 divided by 0.1, 0.1 divided by 0.1, 0.1 over 1.1 and 0.2 over 1.1, and the ratio therefore is 2 to 1 to 1 to 2. And then we put those into the equation as our balancing numbers. Remember, we don't usually write ones. So that's 2 AGI plus Na2S makes Ag2S and 2 NaI. So if you got all of that correct, very well done. If you show you're working out, you will pick up marks along the way. This would probably be a 4-mark question. Let's look at one more question. Once again, have a read at the question, pause the video, try and scribble down your answer on a piece of scrap paper, and then resume the video to see how you got on. So in this question, we've got KNO3 reacting with H2CO3, so they need to go on the left of the arrow, to make K2CO3 and HNO3, which have to go on the right of the arrow. So that's our starting point. We then do moles equals mass over mR for each term in the equation, which works out at these numbers. Then that works out at 6 to 3 to 3 to 6 moles. So if you can't spot the ratio from there, the lowest whole number ratio, we divide by the lowest number, which is 3 in this case. So 6 over 3, 3 over 3, etc. And that gives us a ratio of 2 to 1 to 1 to 2. So we put those in as balancing numbers and we get 2 KNO3 plus 1 lot of H2CO3, so that doesn't get a number next to it, and 1 K2CO3 and 2 HNO3. So well done if you got that correct. So it might be that once you've had a go at these, you might need to replay the video again just to firm it up in your mind, or maybe come back to it in a few days and have another go so that you can see if you can still remember it. Remember, the essence to revision is you must repeat it many, many times so it starts to go into your long-term memory. Okay, so well done.